Hello, dear students. Hope you all are fine. As you have received your computer textbooks, so we start with the syllabus. Today we are going to study lesson number 1, that is computer system. Okay, the functions and components of a computer. The computer has both hardware and software components. If we talk about a computer as a whole consists of hardware parts also and software parts also. The hardware consists of mechanical and electronic devices which we can see and touch. Hardware parts are the which mechanical parts or the solid parts which we can see and touch, right? As we have a CPU, the CD, the drive, the keyboard, the mouse, all these are termed as hardware. The software consists of programs like the operating system and the application programs for specific tasks. Now, can you see a software? Software are the programs which we have. This is an operating system. Microsoft Windows is an operating system which we cannot touch, right? It is there in the computer by which we can start our computer. Here I have MS Word. This is also an application program which is again termed as software. I have antivirus, again comes in the field of softwares. Okay, so we have hardware and software both. We term it as a computer system. The computer mainly performs the following four functions. Now, what are the four functions in the computer? What it does? Receives input. Yes, the user, what he wants, that is termed as input. The input from the user is processed, okay, in the CPU, and then the output is given. But if the user wants to store something or save something, then the input is given to the processing unit and the processing unit will store the data in the storage media. Okay, so either or he can perform. So his instructions can go as the output, as the display, or I can store it in the memory. So four functions are receives input, process information, stores information, and produces the output. Receives input, processes information, stores information, and produces the output. The computer system includes all the hardware and software required to make it functional for the user. Now, here for input, I require certain input units. For output, I require certain hardware. Okay, either it would be a monitor on which I can see, or a printer on a paper I can get the information, right? Processing is done by the software. Storage is also done, can be hardware and software. It stores in the RAM. Okay, so both hardware and software are required to do all these four functions. Next part, types of computer system. There are different types of computer system. Microcomputer. Microcomputer is a program with a microprocessor as a central processing unit. Okay, can you see a microcomputer? Can you see the microcomputer? Microcomputer is broken down into two, personal computers and workstations. Personal computers. A personal computer is a microcomputer designed to be used by a single person. Okay, one person can use this personal computer. These machines run on easy to use applications such as Word, processors, and spreadsheets. So, whatever that person requires for his work, then he can use that particular application softwares in his computer. Okay, that is known as personal computer. Workstation. Workstations are expensive and powerful machines used by engineers, scientists, and other professionals who process a lot of data. Can you see her? She is also a professional. Okay, so her job is for weather forecasting. So she requires workstations. A lot of data has to be processed for getting the weather requirements. Okay, the weather processing. People who need to run complex programs and display the result graphically use workstations. Can you see graphs are being displayed on the screen? Right? So these kind of workstations are used by the people who will be working with complex programs and the ones who require graphical structures. Okay, so we have two parts or two examples for microcomputer, personal computer which is being used by a single person, okay, and the workstation which is used for professionals. Next part. There are portable computers also. What do you mean by portable computers? The computers, if I want to shift my house, okay, so I need to take care of my computer. I need to shift the monitor, the CPU, and then the printer, the scanner, all these devices. Okay, so I can't do this shifting now and then because it's very heavy to just take it anywhere, right? So if we are a traveling person and I need to go abroad or to other areas with my computer, then it comes for a portable computer. The computer which I can quickly grab and go. Okay, those are kind of portable computers. First portable is laptop PC. Laptop is very lightweight rather than a desktop. Okay, so I can put that in my backpack and I can go anywhere. Laptops are battery powered, so it's not necessarily that I should be plugged, my wire should be plugged in. Not necessary, it works on the battery also. These computers are ideal for users who are traveling and work on field away from their offices, right? The ones who are away from the offices but still has to work and has to do certain things on the computer. Then for them it is very useful that they get a laptop. Nowadays many people are having their work done on the laptops only. Many companies are keeping their employees work from home, right? So there also laptops are used. For example, Lenovo ThinkPad. Next portable computer is netbook. Netbook is a category of small, lightweight, and inexpensive computers. They are used by professionals who travel frequently. Now, can you see this? Laptop is we need to keep either on our laps or on the table, right? But smaller than the laptops, we have netbooks, which are lightweight plus not so expensive. Because with the help of a screen and I get a keyboard also. And it's so small. Can you see in two hands? They have just picked up that particular netbook PC. So it's very useful for the ones who are traveling a lot. Next one is tablet PC. A tablet is a portable touch screen display. Now here nowadays there are touch screen laptops and netbooks, but tablet if I say it's touch screen by default. Okay, you can perform all the functions on it. They run on different operating systems. For example, iPad, many different company tablets we are having. Okay, So tablets are more portable than the laptop PC and netbook PC. They are still more smaller and portable. Okay, for education purpose, many of them are using the tablets, and there are certain tablets, Akash and all, which are being specially functioned, prepared for the students itself. Okay, so these are the three types of portable computers. Next part is the different types of computers, different generation computers. Okay, we saw microcomputers. Now we'll go through mini computer, supercomputer, and mainframe computers one by one. First, we go for mainframe computers. Mainframe computers can process several million program instructions in a second. Yes, can you see these? These are the mainframe computers. They have a big capacity of processing. Okay, n number of instructions. Can you see a million programs can be run just in 1 seconds? So it's the power is very much high. Large organizations use these room-sized systems as they can handle a lot of data. What is the size of these mainframe computers? Room-sized. Such big processors they have. So they are being used by big organizations. The organizations which have a lot of data to be dealt with. So they prefer going for mainframe computers so that the processing, the work, what they do is quickly done. It is mainly used by insurance companies. Yes, insurance companies have a lot of data, right? The public information, what they have, the clients, what they have, the insurance details, all those things. And that has to be kept for 5 years, 10 years. Many of them are there for 30 years, 25 years, and so on, right? So that is a big data they have to maintain. So insurance companies go for mainframe computers, banks, airlines, railway reservation systems, they all prefer mainframe because a lot of calculation and processing has to be done. Next is mini computers. The capacity of the mini computer is between that of a mainframe and a microcomputer. Okay, so this is a middle, what we can say. It is a mid-sized computer, not much more bigger than mainframe and not as small as microcomputer also. So it is mini. It is usually fitted within a single cabinet and is about a size of a refrigerator. This mainframe was room-sized computer, but this mini frame is a refrigerator size type. It has less memory compared to mainframe. Mini computers are used to control machines in a manufacturing unit. So where these mini computers are used, wherever there are certain factories for manufacturing. Okay, now car spare parts or vehicle spare parts. Okay, they have to manufacture. So for that we require large machines to manufacture big parts. Okay, so over there they use these mini computers so that they can operate all the machines in a proper manner and the work is done. Fine, so that is mini computer. Mainframe computers, they are very large size and very large capacity also, processing capacity. They can process millions of programs just in 1 second, and they are room sized and they are being used by insurance companies, bank and all. Mini computer are mid-sized computer, smaller than mainframe but bigger than microcomputer. So it has a single cabinet and that is the size of refrigerator. Then we have different microcomputers used in the manufacturing units. Next part we will go through supercomputer. Okay, supernova. Super. If we say super something, that this super are super than the mainframes also. Supercomputers are one of the fastest calculating devices ever invented. So it is like we saw mainframe, it is doing millions of instructions just in seconds, but we'll see about supercomputer. A supercomputer can operate at a speed measured in nanoseconds and even in picoseconds. So if we break down seconds, we come to nano, and again if we break down nanoseconds, we come to picoseconds. Okay, so quick the calculations are done. So it is said to be supercomputers. It is used for weather forecasting, oil exploration, weapon research, and large scale simulations. So wherever large calculations have to be done quickly, then they go for supercomputers. Weather forecasting. So in weather, I want to check the changes, whatever changes are happening quickly. So I should be known, or I should be alerted about the earthquakes or certain floods or certain something in the wind, some changes. So those things we need to be informed quickly. Over there, they prefer supercomputers. Okay. Then next part is network computers. The computers which have low memory, less disk storage, and a lower processing power. Why are these uh, used? Now, can you see here? These are different computers, okay, but they are in a network. They are connected to a big server here. Now, if they have a server who is thinking, who is processing, then there's no need for them to have other or more disk space, because as it is, they are storing it in the server. So here, if I have small space, it's okay, right? If I have small or lower processing power, it's okay, because the processing is done with the help of a server, or a big processing unit is being given, right? So these network computers are in a network, and they are connected to the server or to the CPU or to some other processing unit. These computers are designed to connect to the network, especially to the internet. So only the internet work what is required. Now just consider these as different bank computers. Okay. If I say State Bank, so for State Bank, I have these in different branches. Okay, but the data is on the server itself. The data is processed, stored, retrieved from the server itself. So what these are doing, they are in a network. They are connected to these central parts. So what they require, what they'll do, they'll just fetch the data here and they'll show. They'll see, they'll search, they'll read all the data which is there here. So they don't require any special memory space or special storage space or special processing power. It's not required. Okay, especially for the internet. Now they are logged on through the internet only. All these branches, they are logged on or they are connected through internet with the main branch server. Okay, that is what the network computers. Next part is the computer system. Now we come to the computer system. We saw hardware and software. We saw four functions of the computer system, what it does. Then we came across portable computers. Then we came across microcomputer. Then mainframe, supercomputer, right? Mini computers. Then network computers. Now we are coming to parts of a computer system. Okay, computer system is divided into three parts. What are the three parts? First is input unit, process unit, and output unit. Input unit is connected to the processing unit, and processing unit is connected to the output unit. Input unit consists of devices that are used to feed data into the computer. What is the main use of input device? To feed in the data, to type the data into the computer. Keyboard and mouse are the most common input devices. As we all know, keyboard is used for typing and mouse is used for moving and giving the instructions. So both devices are giving in the instructions to the computer. So they are input device. They are signaling in. Keyboard, when I type, the signal is gone in the CPU. When I move the mouse or when I right click or left click the mouse, I am telling the CPU whether I want to select the folder or I want to open the folder by just clicking and double clicking. Right? So the instructions are provided in the CPU. So I call it as input unit. Scanner and digital cameras are other examples. Scanners, what they do, they scan the hard copy which is there outside, and the hard copy as an image, it is stored in the hard disk. So the signals are going inside. And digital cameras, we are taking the cameras and storing the photos in the memory card, right? So it's the signals are going in. So I call it as input unit. Next is process unit. The processing is done in this unit. The central processing unit, commonly known as CPU, is the most important unit where all the processing work is done. The CPU is the control center of the computer and hence it is said to be the brain of the computer. Okay, the CPU is there as the main important unit for processing. We require CPU for processing as well as controlling. Okay, controlling the hardwares, the applications, softwares, everything is being done by process unit, or we can call it as a CPU. Next unit is output unit. The output unit consists of devices that are used to give or display an output. Okay, so output unit are the devices by which we get the signals outside. Input unit, what was happening? Keyboard and mouse, the signals were going in. Scanner and digital cameras, the signals were going in. But output unit, the signals will come out. Okay, if we consider monitor, what does monitor do? The files which are stored inside the CPU are shown on the monitor and I can see those files outside, right? So the signals are going from the CPU out to the monitor. Or if I talk about a printer, then the printer, what it does, the printer is also giving or printing the file which is there in the CPU. Okay, I get a hard copy of it outside. So from CPU, the signals are sent to the printer and that is outside. So the devices which gives the signal out are known as output unit. The devices which gives the signal in are input and the ones which are processing are inside process unit. So these are the three main parts or main units of computer system: input unit, process unit and output unit. Next, the CPU has three main components. Components are different. Now what we have seen here is these three comprises of computer system. I have these three in one computer. Okay. Now we will just go for CPU. Here, the CPU has three main components again. First part is ALU, second is control unit, and then the main memory. Okay. The CU or the control unit controls and coordinates all the operations taken place in the system. Now, what operations will be there in the system? Saving, storing, retrieving or displaying, selecting. These are the kind of operations what we do, typing, right? So if I'm typing something, I will tell the CPU that I have typed my name and that name has to be seen on the monitor. So the signal what I have typed, my name, should pass on from the keyboard to the CPU and from CPU to the output unit monitor. Okay, so the signal has to go around every nook and corner. Who is controlling that? The control unit. The control unit will tell the signal that you have to go to the output unit, to the monitor, or to the printer, or to the memory unit. This is the unit which is controlling all the systems, all the signals. It controls the flow of data and instructions from one unit to another. From input unit, it goes on to the CPU and then it goes on to the output unit. Now, if I have to do certain calculation, then comes the ALU. This part of CPU performs all the arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division on the numerical data as directed by the control unit. Okay, the control unit will be directing. Now if I am just typing my name, so there is no need for any calculation. So control unit will send that signal to the monitor to show me. But if I say 5 plus 2, I want the answer. 5 plus 2, I gave the calculation. So the control unit will take that signal and give it to ALU because he is the one who knows to calculate, right? So 5 plus 2, this ALU will calculate and give me the answer as 7. That 7 is then given to control unit. Control unit will take that signal of 7 and it will show it on the desktop or on the monitor. Okay, so likewise the control unit is working and the ALU is used for calculation purpose only. Next comes the memory unit. All necessary softwares and data need to be stored in the computer. Right or wrong? It's right. The data is to be stored in the computer because we require that data later, so we have to store it. This data is stored in the memory unit of the CPU. CPU is having one memory unit. So here the data is stored. Computer memory is measured in bit, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and terabyte. We have different measuring units, what we can say it as for measuring the memory. Okay. Next is here we have different units by which we can measure the computer memory. Okay. 8 bits. Now what do you mean by bit? Bit is a trigger of 1 and 0, on off. If I say on, it is 1, off, it is 0. Okay, so a combination of 1 and zeros. If I have 8 bits, bit can be 0 or 1. This is the 1 bit. This can be 1 bit, 1 bit, 1 bit. And so if I calculate, I have a collection of 8 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have a collection of 8 bits that becomes 1 byte. Okay, now I can term the full range of numbers as 1 byte. Then we have 1024. If I have a collection of 1024 bytes, it will calculate it as 1 kilobyte. If I have 1024 kilobytes, it will be 1 megabyte. I have 1024 megabyte, then I'll have 1 terabyte. But if I have 102 gigabytes, okay, then it comes the terabyte. Okay, here the same thing is given, but after terabyte, gigabyte, I have petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, and yottabyte. So many different variation units are there. Next part is inside the CPU. Now we saw three main parts of CPU. What were the three main parts? ALU, CU, and memory units. These were the three main parts of the CPU. Now again still more inside we will go. Can you see here the CPU? It has lots and lots of parts here. Can you see? This unit is filled up with the data cables, with different cables, with wires, with fan, with processor, all those things. Okay, so we'll just one by one, we'll see the main parts of the CPU. The main components inside the CPU are as follows. First is the motherboard. The motherboard or main board is the backbone of the computer. The motherboard consists of, it's the backbone of the computer. Okay, now on the motherboard, what all things are there? On the motherboard, first is processor chip, PCI slots, memory unit. Now what do you mean by processor chip? This is the chip that does the thinking and processing for the computer. We have Intel chips, right? We have Intel processing chips, i5, i7, i10 and so on. So those are the thinking and processing units for the computer. Okay, so this is being stick on the motherboard. Next part is PCI slots. What do you mean by PCI slots? PCI slots are the outlets in the motherboard that allow you to install an extra component like either a sound card, modem, video card, and other devices or other cards such as graphic cards, TV toner cards. Okay, you have different cards which you can fit inside these PCI slots. Can you see here? PCI slots are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this I can fix these cards. Okay, sound card, video card, graphic cards. If you want to play certain games with high quality, then you have to have your graphic cards installed. Okay, so you can do that with the help of PCI slots. Then we have memory unit or primary memory or RAM, random access memory. In the memory unit where data and information are temporarily stored for processing. Now, what do you mean by this is if I say 42 plus 43. Okay, so if I do this calculation, first I store it in my brain and then I calculate it and give the answer. After I give the answer, I forget about that, right? So the numbers vanish out from my memory. That is the RAM. RAM is the temporary memory. Just for processing time, the memory is used. After that, the memory is cleaned and clear back again. Okay. Here it is the volatile memory which gets cleared as soon as computers is switched off. Computer is switched off, the data what is there into the memory is vanished. So it is said to be volatile memory. Okay. Next, memory unit. There are certain memory units or primary units called RAM. Now, many times what happens is our computer process is very slow. At that time, many people suggest us to increase the RAM. Okay, so these are the RAM sheets what we have. Okay, the RAM cards what we can say, we need to put these into the PCI slots. Okay, and we need to increase the size if it is 4, if it is 120 and so on. Okay, as much size you want, we are writing. Okay, we can use those for our typing and processing. Next is hard disk drive. Hard disk drive or secondary memory, we can say it as. It is the part of the computer where an information is stored. Okay. For storing the information for a longer time, I require a hard disk. Now the data what I am storing in the hard disk should not be deleted, right? So all the information that you access on the computer, all the documents, pictures, email messages and programs are saved in the hard disk drive, your C drive, D drive and so on. Unlike RAM, HDD does not store information temporarily. So it is there for later retrieval also. Okay, the data is stored in this unless and until the hard disk gets corrupt. Next is DVD-ROM or drive. This drive allows you to access the data stored on a CD or a DVD. Yes, can you see a CD which is being put inside? Data can also be written or modified or erased with the help of the drive. Not only I can retrieve, but I can store the data on the CD, or I can use the DVD or CDs for just viewing. I have many movie CDs. Okay, so with the help of this DVD ROM drive, I can open the CD or DVD. Yes, students, are these concepts clear to you all? I hope the lesson is understood, and thanks for watching. Now, I will be providing you with the notes. You need to write the question answers in the 100 pages notebook. Thank you.